Welcome everyone to Gainesville, Florida in the Exact Tech Arena at the O'Connell Center for Women's Regional Gymnastics Championships. We are in the second round, and it has already been an exciting postseason in women's gymnastics. Here's what our bracket looks like here in Gainesville. There will be two sessions today in this round two. The first session coming up now, Utah, Michigan State, Towson, and Maryland. Two of those teams will advance to Sunday's regional final. Later this evening, the host team, Florida Gators, they will be trying to punch their ticket along with Missouri, Georgia, and Iowa State. I am John Roethlisberger, and I am joined by NCAA champion and Olympic silver medalist Sam Pechek. Sam, it's already been an amazing regionals, an exciting regionals to say the least.
Yesterday was fun, and I think today is going to be even better. But yesterday we saw Oklahoma advance. No surprises there. But what was shocking is number 9 Michigan at home did not qualify, and neither did NC State to the regional final. I know that was a big upset on both teams there. But some highlights was Alita Finnegan and Jade Carey both scored perfect 10s on floor.
So there are 4 regional sites across the country. It started with 36 teams on day 1. Day 2 goes down to 32. The finals will have 16 teams, Sam. It doesn't matter how good you are, right, when you get to this point of the season. It matters how good you are, but it matters how good you are on that specific day. One chance to raise your hand, do your routine to try to help your team advance. That's a lot of pressure.
I've been in a lot of pressure situations as an athlete. The Olympic Games, NCAA championships, this regional championships is more pressure because you only have one shot, and there's so much parity across the nation right now with all of these teams. You can't afford to count a fall and still advance. We saw that happen yesterday with Michigan, and it's going to be the same and that close in this regional championships as well.
So 2 regional sites had their second round yesterday. 8 teams has already advanced. Today, 8 more teams will advance to those regional finals. So as you're watching today, no more than 2 events will be going on at the same time. So vault and beam will alternate. Uneven bars and floor exercise will also alternate. And what that means to you guys at home is that you get to see every single routine being competed here in this regional championships. It's awesome, it's suspenseful, and it certainly will have some drama here in Gainesville as we expect. So here in this first rotation, the second highest ranked team, the highest ranked team in this session are the Utah Utes. Sam, they start on vault. What do you think of them?
Well, I don't know if you saw in the background, but Jaden Rucker just stuck a Yurchenko 1.5. She has a national championship title on that event, and she shows up in the postseason. So she's right there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her just dominate this vault.
Utah, the 5th ranked team in the country. Florida Gators, the host team, are 4th ranked, but they will be this evening. So Utah, the highest ranked team in this session. Maryland will be on the uneven bars to start their competition. Towson will be on the balance beam to start. And Michigan State, a team that we have watched throughout the season and really have surprised a lot of people, they will be starting on floor exercise, a very strong event for them. Cami Winger will be the first gymnast to go for Utah on vault. And Victoria Gatzendorfer will be the first to go for Maryland on bars. So we have a change to the vault lineup. Jalen Gilstrap actually will be the first vaulter. Late change, Sam. Can that be difficult?
Yeah, I was shaking my head because I'm wondering what happened, but we're seeing that a lot more frequently with a lot of teams. There's so much depth on these rosters that they could do 7 athletes competitively and still do well. So a lot of these coaches, the approach is let's warm up 7 or 8 athletes, and whoever is having the on day, whoever is sticking in the touch warm up, you're getting a tap to go in. And it looks like that's what happened to Jalen.
Do you have a favorite event to start on, Sam, when you were a gymnast?
I think I liked Olympic order. Got things going, your adrenaline's pumping for vault, it helps you elevate, and then from there you kind of settle into competition.
Here we go with Gilstrap on the left side of your screen.
Yurchenko, layout full, clean landing. It's really important for the first athlete who goes to have the least amount of deductions, obviously, right? But it's setting the tone in the right direction for this team. Momentum is going to be a huge indicator in this meet.
Junior Victoria Gatzendorfer getting some final words from head coach Brett Nelligan in his 15th season as she leads off the uneven bars.
And the goal for Maryland in Victoria here is to get a 9-8 start. Head coach Brett Milligan, you see right there, said that was really important for this team.
Lauren Keener starting off beam for Towson, left-hand your screen.
Hop on the dismount, a little out of control there. Not sure she'll break into that 9-8-5, but a hit routine for Maryland. This has been a really solid event for Towson this year. Ooh, that was a nervous wobble. Sometimes you see some interesting mistakes on balance beam because it's the pressure talking.
Elbow fake, the first gymnast to go on floor exercise for Michigan State.
Opens front double full, and I'm disappointed that Michigan State is starting on floor because it's a rotation that I really look forward to watching all of their routines. They're so performative, start to finish, super expressive. I spoke to head coach Mike Rowe and asked him where the performance quality and that intensity comes from. And he said, you know, thank God for TikTok. So he's really attributing their good dancing to TikTok, which I thought was hilarious.
Ella Zerbis will be the second gymnast to go for Utah following a 9-8 from Gil Strap.
Athlete that's continuing to learn how to handle the pressure. Yurchenko 1.5, really good shape in the air, and by shape I mean her hips were completely flat. I didn't see any leg separation and a controlled landing with that one step forward.
Ellie Beaufet finishing up her floor exercise routine in the leadoff spot for Michigan State. She is a sophomore. Over to the balance beam. Teresa Portillo will be the first, or the next gymnast to go, following Lauren Keener. Still waiting for that score. Judges a little slower here, getting things going, Sam.
Yeah, they're working the kinks out. They know how much is on the line. So I think the worst case scenario is for them not to get the scores accurate. And there's been a lot of conversation throughout the year, John, on these scores. So hopefully today we're seeing some consistency across the board.
Lauren Keener at 9.8. You can see all the scores on the right hand of your screen. A lovely score tower there. Gatzendorfer from Maryland led off with a 9.675. They'll want to do better with Dasha Brzezowski now, the second gymnast to go for Maryland.
That single bar Jaeger release move. We're looking in the right hand side. Finishes double layout dismount. Nice landing. Something that Maryland is really proud of is that big girl gymnastics. Lots of E skills you're going to see.
And a break from Towson on Portillo's routine. She did come off. You can count, you do count rather, the top 5 scores on each event. So fall, you can drop that score, but especially early in the rotation like this, and having a fall puts so much pressure on the rest of those athletes, especially in the balance beam.
It really does, and they had some trouble early on in the season on this event, but they figured it out midway through the season and want to be known as that gritty team, so they're going to have to dig deep here.
Michaela Tucker now on floor exercise for Michigan State. Follows a 9.825 from Beaufet.
The key for Michigan State on floor is those landings. They have the performance quality, but sometimes with the adrenaline, it could give them some extra juice after their tumbling passes, but I'm seeing them handle those landings pretty well right now.
Ashley Glynn over on vault. She follows a 9.875 from Zerbis. Gilstrap a 9.8. So all 9.8s or higher for Utah so far. Good start for them.
Last meet at Pac-12, she scored a 9.9, so she's capable of breaking that boundary. Good block off the table, but you saw her step backwards. That's going to be a deduction. Sometimes athletes try to go too hard for that stick and end up under-rotating, which of course is a deduction.
Kayla Tucker out of DeVos Gymnastics. You ever heard of that gym, Sam, DeVos?
Yeah, I've heard about it. That's the gym that I grew up in. I went to the Olympics in, and so it's really special for me to see athletes. There's a couple of athletes in this competition who went to DeVos, so special shout out to them.
Tasha Brzezowski for Maryland on bars, 9.75. So yet to break a 9.8 for Maryland. Keep in mind, top 2 teams from this session will advance to the regional finals. Not that important if you win it. You don't want to be 3rd or 4th. You're fighting for that 2nd spot. So early challenge here for Maryland. They've got to start scoring in the 9.8 pluses. This is Sierra Kondo now in the 3rd spot. Also a dramatic moment for Towson. Clara Hong, their 3rd gymnast, is following a 9.175 from Portillo.
Well, if you're looking on the right side of the screen, Sierra's doing a phenomenal bar routine, and actually the last 4 athletes in this lineup can absolutely go 9.9 plus. They're going to want to show up right now. That's how you do it. She knows it too. It's that extra little second you're sinking in to prove that you stuck that landing.
Head coach Brett Nelligan there cheering her on. Really has talked so highly of this team. Said they had their best meet of the year at the Big Ten Championships, and feels like they can really build on that here and give themselves a legitimate shot to make that regional final. Larger size Gabby Stephen now, the junior from Elgin, Illinois, follows Tucker's 9.85.
Yeah, sorry, John. Huge moment for Towson. Clara actually nailed that beam routine, hoping to get them back on track. Of course, they don't want to count a fall.
Ashley Glynn, a 9.85 for her vault. McKenna Smith will be the next vaulter to go for Utah.
What I love about Gabby on floor is she has big tumbling passes, but her leaps are huge as well, and it really is the exclamation point that judges like to see. Really nice vault from McKenna Smith. Good landing. I want to see her chest a little bit more vertical when her feet hit the ground, but that's a round off onto the board, half onto the table, front pike off, which is a 10.0 start value. You don't see many of those vaults in the competition.
She gets the shades too, by the way.
I'm here for it.
So Clara Hong hit a clutch beam routine for Towson. Now Sarah Garreau will be the next gymnast to go for the Tigers. Clara Hong, a 9.825. Big time beam routine with 3 to go.
Yeah, Sarah Garreau is also one of those DeVos athletes who came out of Indianapolis, and it's really exciting for me since I loved beam so much to see these athletes shine on balance beam. Coaches say that last year she won the Strength and Conditioning Award overall for all the student athletes at Towson.
Sierra Kondo for Maryland. Sierra Kondo for Maryland, 9.85. Emma Silverman on bars now.
Really nice gainer release move, working hard, getting the handstands to vertical. looking for another stuck landing from Emma on the right box. Not quite the landing they were hoping for, but on the bar, it was a clean routine.
Sarah Giroux finishing strong for Towson. Another hit routine after a major break, and if they can drop that 9-1-7-5, so far they're on a roll here. They can count all 9-8 pluses if they can continue to hit, and that is big because Utah is doing exactly that on vault, and Michigan State doing that as well on the floor exercise. So again, trying to be in the top 2 here to advance to the regional finals. Delaney Harkness will be the next gymnast to go for the Spartans on floor exercise, and Jaden Rucker, outstanding vaulter, top 25 in the country for Utah here.
She nailed it in touch. Yurchenko 1.5. Oh no. Very uncharacteristic, and she's walking fine. Sometimes if you land really shy, it can not feel so great, but I was just gonna say she has the program record of most 10s on vault in a season.
And it looked like a situation there, Sam, maybe trying to be too perfect, trying too hard to stick the landing, possibly.
Yeah, a common theme that all these coaches have been talking about throughout this season is that dichotomy of focusing on the sticks, but not focusing on them too much, that it causes more mistakes. And I think we're gonna see a few of those style mistakes in today's competition because these athletes really want this opportunity.
And that is not going to be catastrophic for Utah. They already have 4 scores above a 9-8 and 1 more gymnast to go, so they can drop that score. But they need a hit now from Grace McCallum in the anchor spot. Giroux from Towson, a 9.775, so not quite that 9-8 mark. It's their next gymnast. Jenna Weeks goes in the 5th spot. 2 more critical routines for the Tigers as Delaney Harkness finishes on floor exercise.
Yeah, I love how sharp she was after her tumbling passes. Her lunge is really quick to showcase how controlled it was, and she's not moving those feet.
If you're looking on the right hand of your screen, you see the score tower and you see the slightly lighter shaded score. That is currently the low score for each of those teams. So that is a score that they will drop, assuming all the other scores are higher than that, just to help you guys with your math at home. Alexa Rothenbuscher now for Maryland in the 5 spot. Looking for a couple big numbers here at the end.
Oh no, Jenna. It looked like she was crooked and adjusted and was so close to pulling it back on. Really big disappointment for Towson on beam. She is just such a beautiful beam worker.
Towson is going to have to count a fall now. You can see that 9.175 on the right hand of your screen. They're going to either have to count that or Wheats' score. And we'll find out which one of those 2 is higher, but a fall will count, and that is a really tough thing to dig out. As competitive as this meet is going to be for that 2nd spot, they will have to be lights out the rest of the way. Nikki Smith will be the 5th gymnast to go.
Utah and Michigan State are the favorites coming into the competition, and they're really using this as practice and warm-up for tomorrow's competition as well.
Anchor vaulter for Utah, Grace McCallum, left hand of your screen. She's also following a miss from Rucker, so some mistakes here early.
A little bit of pressure for Grace McCallum. I would say a lot of pressure, but she's an athlete that has been in a lot of pressure situations in her career, internationally, at the Olympic Games, so I knew it was going to be no problem for Grace. a lot of teams don't like starting on floor, but I actually think for this Michigan State team, this is the best event for them to start on because it's a team that likes to have a lot of fun. And floor is an event that you can show off, you can dance, you can let loose a little bit. So for them to start their competition with that vibe in mind, I think is gonna be really positive for them.
Final gymnast for Towson on beam, Grace Valancourt, follows a 9-2 from Jenna Wheats. They will have to count that 9-2. Absolutely need a hit here.
Yeah, if we thought some of the other athletes in the lineup had some pressure, Grace is feeling it ×2, but she looks really calm and composed up there. Typically with the anchor gymnast, they're the iciest competitors in the lineup.
Rhea LeBlanc now will be the final gymnast to go on bar. 9.85 for Rothenbuscher. Trying to finish with a big one here.
Yeah, if Rhea can hit a really solid bar routine, it's looking good so far. It's really going to help Maryland in the standings break that 49 on bars. Beautiful handstand position. She needs a clean dismount, stuck landing. A little raise of the heel, couldn't quite see if she stuck. Probably, most likely, and absolutely will be a little bit of a deduction there, but really nice routine and is definitely gonna improve their team score on bars.
Maryland started a little bit slow with a score in the 9.6s and then one in the 9.7s. Picked it up a little bit here at the end, so that will keep them in the hunt. Towson, unfortunately, having some problems on beam with 2 falls there. Grace McCallum, a 9.85 for her vault, so they finished strong. All scores in the 9.8s for Utah. And now Michigan State trying to do the same with Skyla Schulte right here. She follows Nikki Smith, 9.875.
Opens tuck full in, and this is the floor routine I've been waiting to see.
We also have some individuals competing here in this competition that qualified to the regionals. Didn't qualify with their team. Kylie Georgiani from New Hampshire. The first one that we will see.
Nice back handspring layout. Want to see her push all the way through those toes so the knees get straight. Important to note that even though these athletes are individual, they're still competing with a team. They're competing with Towson, and it's actually still tough to follow falls, even though it's not your team. I know this is a lot to ask for, John, but can Skyla do it again? I had so much fun watching the floor routine. I just want to see that on repeat. It is like the gold standard for performance. Love to see it.
Kylie Georgiani finishes strong on that beam routine. She is competing in the all-around here, so she will compete all 4 events. Some individuals qualify just on a single event or a couple of events, but Kylie currently ranked in the top 50 or just outside the top 50 in the country in the all-around, trying to find some magic here and make it to the NCAA championships. Individuals have to win their discipline in order to qualify to the NCAA championships. Here is another individual on the uneven bars. This is Sid Morris from Long Island University.
Working through first position. Pack salto down to the low bar. Good pirouettes. When you do the pirouette half turn, you want to finish in vertical. Tough to do. She did a nice job of that. And a nice stuck landing. And you see her coach right there, Randy Lane. He actually coached me in college for a few years, so I know exactly what he is saying to her throughout that bar routine. It's a little nostalgic for me, if you will.
Randy,
We
in
had
his
some good
fourth
times
season.
together.
I'm sure you guys did. You guys always have fun out there in UCLA. Randy in his fourth season, the only coach so far for Long Island University. They just started the program 4 years ago, doing an outstanding job. Our last individual here in this first rotation, Julia Bedell from Brown. She is a junior. Her club, Breschans, where your teammate from the 2018 Alicia Sacramone went to, Sam.
Yeah, and floor was definitely a strength of the entire gym. They did so much plyometrics and conditioning, and that's why you're going to see her really have an easy time with all of her tumbling passes. Opens, tuck full in, working on the clean landing. Once your feet land in the lunge, you do not want to move them. Again, shy on that pass. I want to see a little bit more rotation, but love this floor routine. Great posture, nice toe point, good presentation. Sometimes after a floor routine, you're so tired, you don't know which direction to run off the floor.
Nicely done from Julia Bedell. Again, individuals have to win their individual event, and they have to be the highest person. I should rephrase that. They don't have to win their event. They have to be the highest individual on that event outside of the teams that will ultimately qualify to the NCAA championship. So she won't know until the whole regional final is over on Sunday whether she will qualify to the NCAA championships. But regardless, Sam, great performance. Bottom line, that's what you want to do at a regional, is go out there and give it your best and hopefully have your best day of the year.
Yeah, build some experience and also just have some fun. You can see it's a little bit lighter. You're not competing for your team, and so you're really just going out there to showcase your gymnastics, which is a different level of pressure and fun, I think.
Michigan State's got the lead after one rotation, small margin over Utah, and it was led by this routine. Skyla Schulte's 9-9 on floor exercise.
Yeah, no surprise there. She's got the tumbling where she lands completely vertical, chest up, good posture, and then she sells it. I mean, it is so much fun to watch. It's dynamic, energetic, and you can't help but smile watching it.
These are your individuals competing here today in that first rotation. You can see their scores for Morris, Gorgani, and Bedell. We'll see how those hold up throughout the weekend. So early in the competition, it's Michigan State that's got a lead over the favored Utah Utes. And those Utah Utes are led by one of the best in the country, Grace McCallum. We're going to get to know her when we come back.
I think with elite gymnastics, it's very individualized, so it can get a little lonely. I did a lot of training by myself, which it can be hard. So coming to college and having just so many amazing people surrounded by you, it brings that fun to the sport again. You're not alone. You're always dancing around and just laughing and having so much fun. It's definitely been challenging for me just because going into college, I felt all these pressures. Everybody expected me to be perfect because I came from elite gymnastics where it's much harder, but the biggest thing I've learned is, just to have confidence in myself and have fun with it. If you're not having fun with the sport, you're not going to do very well. So just finding the fun in it, doing my gymnastics I do every day in the gym because that's enough. Like, I don't need to do anything more. I don't need to squeeze my muscles harder or point my toes more than I do normally in the gym because that's when I make those little weird mistakes. So just staying true to who you are.
Wow, I can relate to a lot of what Grace said in this piece. Elite gymnastics can sometimes feel isolating. It's really the opposite of college gymnastics. But what's impressed me about Grace is not only did she have an illustrious elite career, but she transitioned very well. And sometimes that's hard to do because it can oftentimes feel like two separate sports. So to see her have so much success in elite gymnastics and now seeing her thrive and continue to have success in college, it's really amazing to see.
Olympic silver medalist, many-time All-American, certainly a big factor in Utah's success here in the postseason. Well, after one rotation, Michigan State, they're on top. But again, looking at the top two, it's Michigan State and Utah, but Maryland right behind the Utes, putting a little pressure on them. We'll see how that plays out. A lot of gymnastics yet to go. But Maryland, Sam, really a tale of two seasons in a way for Brett Nelligan and his Terrapins, but they've really come on strong. He said their best meet of the year was the Big Ten Championships. You know, can they build on that? But what's the difference been for them here in the second half?
He told us the difference was their mentality. So they started off this season being a little nervous, a little shy, timid, if you will. And he said they flipped a switch and they decided to be aggressive. And that made all the difference. And he really feels like his team is peaking at the right time. It's showing up here today.
Yeah, it was such a great time talking with him before this competition, and he was so excited about this team, said it was one of the best teams he's ever coached, most talented, hardest working, and you can see here the first 7 meets of the year, averaged a 195.9 and jumped almost a point in the last. That is a lot in gymnastics. That's a couple of touchdowns if you're playing football. Jumped to almost a 197 the last 6 meets. Got to be in the 197s. You got to think here at the regionals if you want to continue to advance. So they're doing the right things, and he is very excited about this team. And certainly after one rotation, some more things to be excited about. Less than 2/10 behind Utah, Sam. I know it's only one rotation, but that's a good sign for them. Here's Skylar Schulte leading off for Michigan State in their second rotation, the vault.
Yurchenko layout full. Again, you're seeing those first athletes on vault do a really good job honing in on those landings, hoping to start the contagious sticks going for these vault lineups.
Utah will be on the bars, Maryland on balance beam, Towson will be on the floor exercise. Towson had to count a fall in that first rotation on balance beam. They finished strong with a 9.9 from Valancourt, but they have got a lot of work to do to dig themselves out of that. Emma Silverman for Maryland will lead off balance beam. McKenna Smith for Utah will lead off the uneven bars.
And what Utah does well on bars are the details. Check out those handstand positions. They almost do them in a slow way. You can see she's milking it all the way to the top, really showing the judges that they hit the position. I don't know if she could have done that lead-off routine any better, John.
That's what they need. Had an early mistake, uncharacteristic on vault, trying to smooth things out here in the second rotation. Floor exercise will be led off by Grace Valancourt. We saw that beam routine in the last rotation was big for them, trying to continue their momentum here. Emma Silverman finishes strong on balance beam for Maryland in the all-important lead-off spots on that event.
And she's really in this spot because she's clean. It's a simple routine. It's what the coaches are saying, and it's very easy for her.
Kayla Tucker will be the second vaulter. She follows Schulte's 9.775.
Round up onto the board, back handspring onto the table. 1.5, but again, she took a step backwards, which indicates she under-rotated. A good mistake on vault is when you over-rotate and take a step forward. But you see the step backwards oftentimes when these girls are going for the stick positions.
Smith on bars for Utah, led off with a 9-9. What a big-time start score that is. Maryland's Leyland Hammer will be the second gymnast to go. She follows Silberman's 9.85, so a great start score for them as well. After one rotation, keep in mind we're watching Utah and Maryland currently sitting in second and third respectively. That all-important second spot, so one we're watching.
And Maryland is coming off of a really amazing beam rotation at Big Tens, and they're really proud of the difficulty they're showing here on this event. And what I'm seeing is the confidence. I mean, check out that landing. Love the way she's working this beam.
Ella Zerbis, the second gymnast now for Utah on bars.
Big release move. I call that a finger tipper. Woo! She caught that out of willpower and then got the connection. Beautiful lines. Tuck full in, works the stick. 2 for 2, lights out on that bars rotation for Utah.
Big time start for the Utes. 9-9 again in the leadoffs from Smith. The other side of the gym, Hammer from Maryland, putting the hammer down on that beam routine. Trying to hold, or close that gap rather, with Utah.
Yeah, phenomenal beam set from Layla. She was sharp, she was aggressive, holding her finishes, and I think it's gonna get rewarded in her score.
Jenna Wheat's waiting to go on floor exercise. She follows Valancourt's 9-8, so a good start. All the teams starting strong so far in this rotation. Olivia Zarmani now for Michigan State, the third gymnast to go. Tucker scored a 9.85 right before her.
Yurchenko 1.5, big 1.5. She blocked on the front part of the table, but no problems, good position and shapes in the air. And she had that step forward that we've been talking about. That's a quote-unquote good mistake. At this stage in the game, everyone wants to stick, right? But a good mistake is stepping forward.
And you alluded to it earlier, Sam. The coaches talked about, hey, a controlled step. Make your step a 1/10 or less step. Don't make it lead to bigger deductions. And that absolutely the key to advancing here in the regionals is minimizing. If you don't stick the landing, minimize those deductions.
And I think vault is going to be an indicator and a separator for these teams, especially this NCAA season. We saw it at SEC Championships, John, and I think we're going to see it again today.
Layla Hammer, a 9.875 in the 2 spot for Maryland. Natalie Martin will be the third gymnast to go, and they got to put up big numbers because over on bars, Utah just put up their second 9-9, back-to-back 9-9s to start the rotation. Zerbis with the second one.
Natalie has had a crazy, impressive freshman year and coming off of a big score on balance beam. So not too much pressure for her to hit this set.
Head coach Brett Nelligan told us, Sam, that he talked about this beam lineup, and he said, we do big gymnastics. We don't try to play it safe, but it's up to us to hit that gymnastics clean, because a 10-0 start's a 10-0 start. You still got to be clean, even if it's big gymnastics. Amelie Morgan, the third gymnast to go for Utah, now on bars.
Talk about big girl gymnastics. That's a full twisting pack salto called a bahardwaj. Don't see many of those in the competition. She's one of the athletes that's been competing internationally and also this collegiate season, so she is tired. I'm willing to bet she's tired, but look, she still shows up for her team, and man, that is so impressive to be doing what she's doing. There's a few athletes around the country that are taking on that challenge.
Natalie Martin finished strong for Maryland on balance beams. Armani on vault, a 9-9. The first 9-9 for the Spartans here in this rotation. Now Gabby Stephen, fourth gymnast to go for Michigan State. Jenna Wheats on floor exercise, a 9.75 for Towson.
Gabby Stevens does a big Yurchenko 1.5. It's all about the landing. And controlled landing. Step to the side, you see she stepped outside of the line. That is not a deduction, but it does indicate to the judges she may have been a little off-center in the air.
Carmela Calafati will be the gymnast for Towson here in the third spot on floor exercise.
Opens for handspring double full. Punch front, big gymnastics there on the right. Love to see those tumbling passes.
Natalie Martin from Maryland, a 9.775 in the third spot. Feels like they can't afford to count that. The way things are going for Utah and Michigan State, and scores in the 9.7s not going to help the Terrapins. That means the pressure is on Victoria Gatzendorfer here in the fourth spot. 3 yet to go for Maryland. Keep in mind, all 9.9 pluses for Utah. 9.95 for Amelie Morgan in the third spot. So have to go big if you're the Terrapins. Cannot afford anything below a 9.8, certainly.
Well, she's starting with the triple series right here on the left side of your screen. Handspring, layout. Not even a wobble, no problems. Head coach Brett Nelligan said that the goal for them on beam, he told them that you can't just do a routine and hope it goes well. You have to make that routine exactly what he wanted to look like, and that's the best way of describing an aggressive beam mentality. Already knowing you're gonna hit before you salute. That's the key to a veteran beam worker, because you're never gonna be perfectly centered on the beam. But how can you adjust to make it look and give the illusion as if you were perfectly centered on the beam?
Our first look at Miley O'Keefe here in today's competition. Defending all-around NCAA champion. Not doing all-around here today, but she is in the 4th spot, and she is following a pair of 9.9 and a 9.95, a career-high score for Morgan.
And she has an NCAA championship title on this event, a few others as well, but she has been just on fire her whole career, but specifically this year, dialed into the details. Difficult double Arabian dismount, sinks into the landing mat. Perfectly done.
And she came out of the sky on that, Sam, a mile in the air, opened up, saw the landing, and absolutely nails it. Nikki Smith, now the 5th gymnast for Michigan State, on ball.
Another Yurchenko 1.5. Talk about minimizing. That was a really small step, so working on cleaning it up and trying to get the least amount of landing deductions possible. Michigan State's doing a good job over there.
Her teammate Gabby Stevens right before her, 9.875, so still looking to blow past that 9.9. They have one 9.9 on the nose, but that Nikki Smith vault looks like it might be the best one so far in this rotation. Clara Hong on floor exercise for Towson. Couple of 9.7 scores for them, 9.75, 9.775. Again, trying to chase down the field after one rotation. Got to start putting up some big numbers, as we're seeing from the other teams. Komorowski will be the 5th gymnast to go for Maryland. Gatzendorfer, a 9.8 for her.
And Clara was the athlete for Towson that went after a fall and nailed her beam routine. So you could just tell she's a really calm competitor, doesn't let a lot phase her. Beautiful flexibility from Maddie on balance beam in the left, and you're going to see a unique series from her. One arm back handspring, layout step out.
Oh, and Maryland with the break. A fall from Komorowski.
And she looked pretty centered on the beam from what we can see from this angle, but even though it's small, I saw her eyes look at the floor, and on balance beam, there's a saying, if you look at the floor, that's where you're gonna go, and I think that's what happened to Maddie. You want to make sure your eyes are always at the end of the beam, so it keeps your chest up, and it keeps you balanced.
Miley O'Keefe for Utah, another 9-9. So 4 scores, 9-9 or better for Utah. Pulling away here in the second rotation from the third place team, the Maryland Terrapins. Pressure on them big time.
And it almost seems like every Utah gymnast has such a long resume. Grace is the 4th gymnast in Utah history to have at least 2 perfect 10s on bars in a season, and you're looking at why. Her swing is beautiful. She has great rhythm, works those handstands quick to vertical, and then she nails this dismount. Oh, I jinxed her. Hopped on the landing, but I think that's the only landing that they haven't totally drilled to the ground.
Not going to hurt that bar rotation, even if it is below a 9-9. They are looking good with 1 gymnast yet to go. Sage Kellerman, the anchor vaulter. She is 4th in the country on this event. She's got a 10 this season. Looking for a big one here. Already got a pair of 9-9s, trying to get a 3rd here of the Spartans.
It's huge, front pike half, and she does it like that every single time. It's so impressive. It's going to be a huge score, definitely the highest score for Michigan State on vault.
Elise Tisler, now the 5th gymnast for Towson, follows Hong's 9.825. Josephine Kokler will be in the anchor spot for Maryland. Big time pressure spot for them now. Komorowski right before her had a fall. They're already going to have to count a 9.775, which is costly enough. Cannot afford to count a fall. Must have a hit, as Michigan State and Utah are absolutely rolling right now.
Josephine on balance beam has the potential to put up a big number, and like you mentioned, John, this one's important. It's really putting all of that mental work in the gym the coaches have said they've done to the test. It's one thing to put in the work, it's another to believe you can attack the beam right here. Beautiful triple series. You can see she wobbled, but she looked at the end of the beam and it helped pull her back on to center to save herself from a fall. Wow, forward roll on the balance beam. That looks easy, but I think that's the most difficult skill you could add in your beam routine, and you don't get extra points for that.
Sabato will be the anchor gymnast here for Utah. All 9-9s or better. Grace McCallum, a 9-9. Kind of surprised she broke a 9-9 on that. Had that big hop on the landing, but already a season high for the Utes, regardless of what Sabato does here.
Big Jaeger release move combination. You want to see the release moves finish above the bar before you catch. Shy on that last handstand. Finishing double layout, no problems with the dismount.
Dare I say that is going to be a sixth 9-9 plus score, Sam. I think we both had the same idea there.
Well, you're looking at the scores and they're already dropping. Right now, the lowest score is a 9-9. So really building their depth on bars.
Over on vault, the junior from North Carolina. She's qualified in on vault and the uneven bars. Lolly Dekanoidze gets her chance here. Gotta go big if you're an individual. Feels like you gotta stick the landing. Trying to be the highest finisher on that event outside of the teams that qualify.
Beautiful technique on that Yurchenko full. Curious to see how they're going to judge the Yurchenko fulls, which are out of a 9.95. In comparison to the 1.5s, John, you and I saw the judging a little tight at SEC championships with the Yurchenko fulls.
This is Ratasha Halsell, the anchor for Towson on floor exercise. Tisler right before her, a 9.825. Halsell is the Rookie of the Year in the East Atlantic Gymnastics League, the Eagle Conference.
And she's gotten a 10 from one judge on floor this year.
Long Island University's Sid Morris now on balance beam. We saw her go on the uneven bars rotation earlier, get a 9.8 there. Competing all around again here.
Two amazing routines that we're looking at. Rotosha, the way she performs, you would never know she's a freshman. She looks so comfortable out there.
Great finish for Towson on the floor exercise. Solid rotation for them.
Yeah, they're really building momentum in that floor rotation. And this is an event that Sid really shines. She just looks so comfortable on balance beam. Whenever she salutes, doesn't look nervous, has big, difficult skills. The definition of a beam queen right there.
Anybody would know a beam queen, Sam. It is you. Isabel Schaefer, now another North Carolina gymnast here, competing on the uneven bar. She is a junior from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Finishing round off double full, just the step on the dismount. She was so close, but finished with the crown on her head. Love to see it. Shy on that last handstand, but beautiful toe point, legs together on that tuck full in. Nicely done.
Beautiful finish from Schaefer. Anna Durante, the head coach at North Carolina in her third year, doing a nice job with the Tar Heels. There she is, former gymnast herself, actually competed in 1988 Olympic trials. Daughter Sammy competed for LSU and now is part of her staff here in Chapel Hill. Over to floor exercise. Kylie Gorgani from New Hampshire. Again, doing the all around here. Competed on balance beam 9.875. So nice score there. Trying to keep that momentum.
And she's the potential to put up a big score here on floor. Earlier this year, got a career high 9.95. This is her fourth straight regional appearance, first as an all-arounder, and it's going well for her so far. She's had a great year. Legs together and glued on that Rudy. Sometimes it's tough to do when you're twisting.
Well done from Gorgani, the EAGL Gymnast of the Year. Competing the all-around here today, trying to find that magic to get herself to the NCAA championship. So that's going to wrap up rotation number 2. Utah, a season high on the uneven bars of 49.575. It is Michigan State and Utah separating themselves from the field. Just a quarter tenth separates those two teams. Maryland 0.625 behind. They got some work to do. The NCAA Gymnastics Championships begins Thursday, April 18th with the semifinals on ESPN2. Then the final returns to ABC on Saturday, April 20th with the preview show at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time and the big meet at 4 p.m. Eastern. For more information on all 90 NCAA championships, visit NCAA.com. Might be March Madness for basketball, but it's April Anarchy for women's gymnastics. It's a fun one. Stay tuned. Meet summary so far. Michigan State had the lead after the first rotation. They kept the lead, but man, it is big time tight. A quarter of a tenth separating those two teams. Utah closing that gap with that season high on the even bars and all 9-9 pluses. Maryland unfortunately had a fall from beam. Did not have to count that fall, but you cannot give at all to these top two teams if you want to advance. Here are your individual scores from that last rotation. Bekanoidze, Schaefer, Morris, and Gorgani, and you see the scores on the right. So good rotation for those individuals competing. Sam, 2 rotations down, and it seems like Michigan State and Utah, the favorites, starting to separate themselves from the field, over half a point of a lead over the third place Maryland Terrapins.
Well, what stands out to me is Utah on bars. Man, they are heating up, and to get their season high on that bars rotation with 4 judges, where the regular season you only have 2 judges. So they're peaking at the right time, and I think they're going to use this momentum to carry them through the rest of the meet. But like you mentioned, Michigan State still has a slight lead, and man, do they want this NCAA championship berth. You're seeing it from the athletes on the sidelines to the way they're focusing on those details. It is a close one here, John.
Yeah, halfway through, putting everybody on notice. But that bar rotation for Utah, led by Emily Morgan's 9.95.
The way she swings, good rhythm, difficult skills, full twisting pack salto, finishing in a stuck position. The whole bar rotation just went lights out, but a highlight on vault was Sage Kellerman front pipe half. She gets so much airtime, and what's impressive to me is that it's a rinse and repeat. She does this every single time she competes vault. It's so impressive.
Sam, talk about Michigan State for a second, because so much buzz around this team really the last couple of years, and they're living up to it. And really that recent success is not it's for real.
Yeah, I mean, it's, for starters, just a fun team to watch. I love following them. They look like they have so much energy throughout the competition, and they have a number 3 finish in 2022, which is the best in team history. They improved 46 places. They won Big Ten championships for the first time in program history. So we're talking about a program that's just been building over the last few years, and it feels like if there's a year for them to get this championship berth, it might be the one.
Head coach Mike Rowe done an outstanding job. The thing that sticks out to me is they've been the third team, the first team out the last 2 seasons, meaning they missed those national championships by 1 spot, trying to get over the hump here this year. Another team that's been fun to follow is Towson, the Towson Tigers, Sam, and really their motto has been believe, and you can see the sign here, just like the Ted Lasso show. Sam, have you seen Ted Lasso?
I have. I love the inspirational message.
And they have got the fans in the
bringing it.
They got the fan in the stands. I'm not sure how he got in the arena exactly, but he must have had a ticket. They got the believe sign. And they've done an outstanding job, and maybe there he is, the super fan. He took the mask off, though. Got to get that believe sign back out. They've done an outstanding job as the team, and some notable gymnasts over the years. And Casey Cantazaro, maybe the most notable, the American Ninja Warrior finalist. Do you remember watching her, Sam? She was unbelievable.
She was incredible, and I feel like she was the athlete to put gymnastics on the map in the American Ninja Warrior world. Everyone was wondering how this really strong athlete, where she came from, and it was gymnastics. So if you're looking to get into American Ninja Warrior and be successful, gymnastics is a good place to start.
A lot of street cred in the ninja world for gymnasts, I feel like. We've seen a number of gymnasts over the years. Jonathan Horton. Ironically, Jonathan Horton, Olympic medalist in Ninja Warrior, he actually fell on the rings one time when I saw him. I'm like, John, how does that happen, bud? Come on. Adriana Hoffman will start things off for Towson on vault here, trying to find some magic. Got to go big the rest of the way.
Opens with a Yurchenko full. We're seeing a lot of those in that first place spot on vault to get things going for these teams.
Towson is 1.225 out of the second spot. We're not worried about how far out of first. It's how far out of second, and that is a lot of ground to make up. Skyla Schulte from Michigan State leading things off here. Amelie Morgan with that outstanding bar rotation. in the last event, leading things off for the Utes here on beam.
Yeah, really interesting and uncharacteristic is last meet, Emily got a 9-2. She fell on her mount. Opens triple series. They took the mount out because she's been a little inconsistent, but coaches really blamed it. I'm gonna say blame, use that word, because she flew back from England the Monday before for those international competitions. So again, she is just juggling a lot. So for her to come back on bars and do so well, and I'm imagining we're gonna see a lights out beam routine from her because she is just so consistent in this leadoff spot.
Taylor Reck from Maryland leads off on floor exercise. And you mentioned that trip back from England. She's over there trying to qualify and try to show that country that she should be on their Olympic team. And yes, I think you can blame the travel. I think you get a card, get out of jail free card on that one. That is a lot to ask an athlete. Travel across the world, try to make an Olympic team and come back and compete for college. And all things considered, I think she's handling it pretty well.
Well, if it's any consolation, she got 3rd at English Championships and 4th at the British Championships. So things are going well for Emily Morgan.
Polina Belanovsky, the second gymnast to go. Hoffman right before her, a 9.825. Belanovsky out of Brookfield, Wisconsin, and Swiss Turner's Gymnastics. For those who follow the men's side of the sport, Paul and Morgan Hamm's gym, Olympic medalists themselves.
Polina was a stick queen last year. Oh, it's almost like the athletes that are so good and so used to sticking, we're seeing some of those mistakes. We saw it from Utah's Jaden Rucker, which is uncharacteristic, and here from Polina as well.
You got to think though, Sam, Towson has to stick their vaults. They have to stick landings. They've got a big deficit to make up, so it's almost like swing for the fences because a single or a double is not going to help you, right?
Yeah, but that's the age-old trick. You don't want to focus too hard on it, otherwise you're going to add more mistakes.
Olivia Zarmani on bars for Michigan State. McKenna Smith on beam for Utah. The two top teams in this session going head-to-head right here at the same time.
A slight miss for Olivia on bars. Didn't come off the bar, but did have to repeat a handstand into a release move. Not a huge deduction, but not quite her best.
Zarmani follows Schulte's 9.825, so a good start score. See what the judges do with that Zarmani routine. Meanwhile, McKenna Smith following a 9.9, another 9.9 plus for Amelie Morgan.
Nice back handspring layout series. I like how light she lands on the beam.
Taylor Osterhout from Maryland will be the second gymnast to go. Taylor Reck right before her, 9.8.
Taylor's really had to
go ahead, Sam.
do a good job working her way back in the lineup. She dislocated her finger in preseason. Then the 3rd meet of the year, she rolled her ankle. So coaches and the team has just been really excited to see her back here in this 2 spot.
Nice finish for Smith on the balance beam. Maryland and Oster, who have a .625 deficit to make up over the second place team Utah. So that's roughly a 10th a routine if you're looking at 6 routines. So just kind of keep an eye on those scores on the right hand of your screen. Already after 1 routine, Maryland down a 10th to Utah's leadoff gymnast, Amelie Morgan. So just a rough way to kind of keep tabs on where these teams sit. Alicia Poblete, a junior from Medford, New Jersey, next to go for Towson. Belanovsky, 9.65 for her vault.
Alicia learned this vault last year, but really has shown confidence throughout the season. Big setback on the landing, but nice pre-flight.
Osterhout finishing up her floor routine. She is the second gymnast to go. Olivia Zarmani for Michigan State on bars, 9.725 in that second spot. McKenna Smith, a 9.9. So they have gone almost an event and a half now, has Utah, with nothing lower than a 9.9, as you-know-who, Olympic silver medalist, All-American Grace McCallum takes to the beam. And over on bars, Sage Kellerman, the third gymnast to go for Michigan State.
When I talked to Utah's head coach, Carly Dockendorf, I asked her, I'm like, you have such a beam team. What do you work on in the gym? And she started laughing. She said, well, I work on their presentation and energy. She said, yeah, they don't really need any work on their skills because they've been doing them since they've been 10 years old. So for these Utah athletes, it's about handling the pressure, and they never really look nervous on this event, in my opinion. Too easy, double layout, perfectly stuck. Sage Kellerman is on a roll, having a day.
And that is as big of a double layout as you will see in all of gymnastics off the uneven bars. Wow. Rhea LeBlanc now on full exercise for Maryland.
And it's going to be another big score for Grace McCallum. I mean, Utah really is seeming to peak at the right time.
A pair of 9.8 so far for Maryland. Vitoff on vault for Towson follows. Poblete is 9.775.
Lutsenko full, big hop back. The coaches say this has been a really steady event for Towson throughout this year. They've been trading off who's getting those 9.9s. We haven't seen one from them in the lineup so far, so hoping Ratosha or Elise can get the job done at the back half of the lineup.
Abby Paulson getting ready to go for Utah on balance beam. Their fourth gymnast there, Grace McCallum, 9.925. That's 9 scores in a row for Utah of 9.9 or better. And they've got 3 more gymnasts yet to go here on beam that can blow past that 9.9 like it's their job.
Yeah, I think Abby is the most underrated beam worker maybe in the nation. She is just so comfortable on this event.
One of the captains of the Michigan State team, Gabby Stephen, now on bars, follows. Kellerman's 9.925, so big score of their own for the Spartans.
Good save from Gabby on bars. Delicate with those handstand positions. Working them in the right direction. A little off from start to finish for Gabby on bars, but still a hit routine. And I'm being picky because this is a phenomenal bar team across the board.
Abby Paulson just doing Abby Paulson things. Kind of an unsung hero in this beam lineup. You got a Miley O'Keefe, who's maybe the best in the entire country in this lineup, and sometimes she gets a little overshadowed, but she's been perfect on that event, has scored 10.0s, and certainly capable of going toe-to-toe with anybody on that event. Outstanding job there.
Yeah, she got a 10 on senior night, and if you haven't watched the video of her and her parents, be somewhere by yourself, because I was sobbing.
Maddie Komorowski on the floor. Her dad, Brandon Paulson, an Olympic silver medalist in Greco-Roman wrestling in 1996. As Wishy Halsell for Towson on vault. Follows Vitov's 9.75. You can see it on the right hand of your screen. Abby Paulson, a 9.975. One note to keep in mind here at the regionals is that there are now 4 judges on the floor. Regular season, there's only 2. Postseason, including the conference championships, it goes to 4 judges. They drop the high and the low, average the middle 2 scores. So for Abby Paulson to get a 9.975, that means 2 of the judges gave her a 10.0. Miley O'Keefe on balance.
Yeah, you know what that means, John, right? Abby's 9.975 is that
yes.
Miley O'Keefe is set up very well to get a perfect 10 on beam. We've seen it so many times.
She is the 2023 NCAA champion on this event, currently ranked number 2 in the country.
She's a national champion on this event, and she's second among active gymnasts for the most amount of 10s. But if she gets a 10 here, she's going to be tied with LSU's Haley Bryant.
Sophomore Nikki Smith now on the uneven bars, following a 9.75 from Gabby Steven. You said she was a little off on that routine. You were correct, Sam.
But this is looking good from Nikki Smith, hitting those handstand positions. Judges want to see the precision to vertical. Oh, Miley.
Not going to be a 10, man. She wanted it.
I don't know, but Nikki's might be a 10. Someone's getting a 10 here today, John. They're asking for it.
And here's what's hard in women's gymnastics. Miley O'Keefe, that was a tremendous balance beam routine. And then she does that small step on the dismount. And for her, it's like a fall. Her standards are so astronomically high that a small step, probably a half 10th step, maybe a 10th step, is like a fall for her, and it's unfair in some ways because it'll probably still be a 9.9. Elise Tisler now the anchor vaulter for Towson. Halsell right before her, a 9.8.
Yurchenko 1.5. Big vault for Towson. Her career high is a 9.975. She's gotten a 10 on this vault before, especially after tearing her Achilles last year. She has had a phenomenal year.
Amazing job there. Alex Rothenbuscher on floor exercise for Maryland. Addie Komorowski right before her, only a 9.55. Can't count that. Jaylene Gilstrap now is the anchor spot. Miley O'Keefe, it is a 9.9. So the 9.9 streak continues for Utah. They head into their final beam routine.
Talk about regionals being a lot of pressure. Guess who has no pressure right now? Jaylene Gilstrap. They already at a 49.6 on beam. So she has to better a 9.9 in order to help that score. Certainly capable of doing that here in the anchor spot. Back handspring, back pike. Wobble there. It's not going to be better than the 9.9. But again, Utah did not need that score, so good practice for her nonetheless.
Delaney Harkness will be the anchor on the uneven bars. Nikki Smith, you said it was going to be a big score. It is 9.95, Sam.
Wow, Delaney on the right hand of your screen. Perfect distance away from the bar. on her Ginger release move. This is looking really good. Gets the handstand, holds it for a second even. She needs a stuck landing. Just that hop, but it's still going to improve their team score, and I believe it's going to be better than the 9.75 from Gabby Steven.
Gilstrap finishes off that beam rotation for Utah. I do have to say, Michigan State's been good on bars, Sam, but if I'm looking towards the regional final on Sunday, assuming Michigan State continues to roll the way they are and they advance, they're going to have to beat Utah or Florida to get to the NCAA championships. And bars is the one area, after watching them today, where they're going to have to improve a little bit. They've got a couple scores in the 9.7s and one score in the 9.8s. That can't happen if you want to make it to the NCAA championship. Kylie Gorgani now on vault. Her third event of the day. Floor exercise, last rotation, a 9.825. Her first event of the day, balance beam, a 9.875. So nice day for her. Sid Morris here on floor exercise for Long Island University. Thank you guys for correcting me on that. Natalie Martin, actually the anchor for Maryland. Rothenbuscher right before her, a 9.775. Maryland and Towson falling behind the top two teams.
Head coach Brett Nelligan told us to watch that middle pass, and he said if she doesn't step forward, you got to call her out on the air. They're really working on not sticking these tumbling passes and lunging out of it, because it's no introduction to lunge, and it's a lot less risky to finish all your tumbling passes in that lunge position. But really good routine, and just a freshman. What a bright future ahead of her.
That will finish up the Maryland floor exercise rotation. They are going to have to count Rothenbuscher's 9.775. Unfortunately, they should be able to drop that 9.55 from Komorowski. For Utah, it's a 9.7 for Gilstrap, but don't mind that. They'll drop that score, and it is a season high on the balance beam as well for them on the strength of 11 straight 9.9 plus scores. What a run for Utah. On the uneven bars now, the individual Ali Dekanoidze from North Carolina, the second of her two events she's competing today.
And I want to just point out how tough it is to qualify as an individual competitor. These athletes have to be nearly perfect to earn this spot, and what a great bar routine she's got going. Beautiful stretched hips on that double layout.
She's the ACC champ on that event this year. Now on floor exercise. I got a little premature introducing Sid Morris, but this is her in her third event.
So you were just so excited for this routine.
I was very excited, actually. She's had a nice day. 9.875 on beam and a 9.8 on the uneven bars in her first rotation. Natalie Martin from Maryland, by the way, 9.8 in the anchor spot there. Delaney Harkness in the anchor spot from Michigan State, a 9.9.
Great extension on those leaps. You want to see 180 or better. and fun floor routine. That's what the judges are looking for. They really just want to be entertained. Sid's crushing it here. And the crown again. Of course, I love it.
Sid Moore is having a nice day as an individual from Long Island University. Well, after 3 rotations, guess who's on top? It's the team that got 11 9-9 plus scores in a row. It's the Utah Utes. They take the lead away from the Michigan State Spartans, but those are the top 2 teams starting to get a nice margin over 3rd and 4th. NCAA Gymnastics Championships begins Thursday, April 18th with the semifinals on ESPN2, and then the finals Saturday, April 20th at 4 p.m., preceded by the preview show at 3:30. It is going to be awesome. For more information on all 90 NCAA championships, visit ncaa.com. It's so much fun. You're not going to want to miss it. We will be there ringside having fun. The meet summary so far, after the first 2 rotations, it was Michigan State. But look out for Utah on the strength of 11 9-9 plus scores, to back-to-back season highs on the uneven bars and balance beam. They take the lead over Michigan State. But right behind them, Maryland, they're a point out of that 2nd spot. So that is going to be the critical thing to watch. A point is a lot to make up, but Michigan State, they got to go to balance beam. You can see them warming up there. You got to stay on. Anything can happen. Individual scores from the last rotation, led by Decanoids, is 9.9. Outstanding job from the individuals here at this competition, Sam. Sam, 3 rotations in. We got a great little fight, maybe a preview of what we're going to see Sunday between Utah and Michigan State. Things that stood out for you so far through 3.
Well, Utah's on a roll. We can't ignore that. They are making it look so easy, just placing their skills in the right place. They don't look nervous at all. And Michigan State has been doing well the first 2 rotations, but missed some handstands, had some missteps on those landings on bars. And I think they're going to be a little hungry and maybe work beam a little angry, which usually is a good indicator that they're going to do well on that event. So hoping to see them step up a little and reach their full potential on that event, on their last event.
A couple of highlights from that last rotation. For Utah, it was Abby Paulson on balance beam leading the way.
Well, she is just such a veteran in the way that she works, being very mentally tough and is just so sound. When she lands, her chest is vertical, textbook. I love watching her on that event, 9.975. And Nikki Smith was a highlight for Michigan State for me. Good rhythm in her swing, nice distance away from the bar when she catches, and a huge high climb, double layout, stretched hips to a stuck position. Couldn't ask for anything more.
Abby Paulson in Utah moving over to the floor exercise for their 4th and final rotation. Here's our bracket. 2 sessions today. This is the 2nd round of the regional championships for women's gymnastics, and that first session, we'll have 2 of those teams here in just a matter of minutes. We'll be advancing to Sunday's final later today. Do not go away. Join us for what should be a great 2nd round, 2nd session competition. Florida, Missouri, Georgia, and Iowa State. Iowa State winning the play-in game, as we like to call it, the first round of the regionals. They beat Clemson to get into this 2nd round. They are on a roll, and they are hungry, and nothing will come easy for those 4 teams. Later tonight, also the Cal Regional out west. The Cal Bears will get things rolling as well. So 4 region locations going, 2 yesterday and 2 today. Here is the California Regional. Denver, UCLA, Arizona State, and Washington, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Your alma mater, UCLA, trying to make some magic themselves, Sam, to get to those NCAAs. And then the Cal Bears, a team that a lot of people have had eyes on this season. Disappointing Pac-12 championships, but man, they have got the athletes that not only could get to the NCAA championships, but they could push the top team, do you think, Sam, like the Oklahoma Sooners?
I think it's a team that could contend with anyone in the nation. Their technique and just the details of their gymnastics and the performance quality is next level. But you mentioned it, they struggled a little bit at Pac-12 championships, so they got to be able to handle the pressure of the postseason.
Here in this final rotation, Maryland will be on vault, Towson on the uneven bars, Michigan State, as we already mentioned, on balance beam, and of course Utah on the floor exercise. Maryland, they're a point out. They're a point behind Michigan State for that 2-spot, Sam. What kind of magic do they need to make happen here on vault? What do they got to do to make some, maybe even just put some pressure on the Spartans?
They've got to stick every landing. I know it's a lot to ask for, but that's what they got to do. Big, huge, beautiful vaults, stick every landing, and they got to ask for maybe a fall. Or two from Michigan State.
And Michigan State's on the beam, and as I always say, the meet doesn't start till you go to beam, and unfortunately for Michigan State, they got to go there last with all the pressure on them. Olivia Weir will start off for Maryland on the vault. Lauren Keener will start for Towson on the uneven bars, and Towson even further back, a 1.525 behind that second spot. Really a point or more, so tough to overcome, and you mentioned it, they're going to need help, and that means mistakes from one of those top two teams.
Olivia's got to set the table for Maryland on the left. Not the stick they were needing.
It looks like something's not feeling right. Hopefully she is okay.
Oh.
In trouble on that artist. Mount Sam looked good, and then it looks like the knees just kind of gave out.
Yeah, very strange landing on that double back. Not the way Towson was hoping to start on bars.
Gianna Khalifi from Michigan State will be the leadoff gymnast here. McKenna Smith looks relaxed, and rightfully so. Utah's got to be a lot to be happy about as they get to just go to the floor exercise and just perform and land on their feet, and they will be competing on Sunday.
Gianna had some trouble on this triple series coming up right here on the left side of the screen. It was really crooked at Big Ten. She pulled it on, no problems here today. Head coach Mike Rose said she just got a little flustered, which was uncharacteristic. And as a gymnast, if you make a mistake, you just can't wait for the next competition to erase that permanently in your mind. So great job for Gianna getting the job done there. And she's able to get the job done for Michigan State. John, you said they had some ground to make up, especially with Utah on floor. And not necessarily that the win here matters, but maybe some confidence and bragging rights heading into the regional final.
And I think too, Sam, just putting Utah in Florida, if you will. I know we got Missouri coming up later as well, but just putting the other teams on notice and saying, hey, we're coming for you. We don't care what the number is next to your team, what your ranking is. They want to let everybody know that they are going to be in the hunt for that NCAA berth. Taylor Recknow for Maryland, the second gymnast to go. And got to get some stuck landings if you're the Terrapins. There you go.
She heard you. That's the way they're hoping to get this ball rotation going for them.
Lauren Keener for Towson led off at a 9.2. Now Lauren Green. 5 gymnasts yet to go. It's not looking like Towson's going to advance to the Sunday regional final, but nonetheless, they've had a great season, and what they want here is 5 hit routines to finish 2024 on a positive note. Taylor Tucker and Dean for Michigan State, following Khalifi's 9.85 in the leadoff spot.
Watching Lauren Green's bar routine on the right. She's got some unique skills, great stalder work throughout this bar routine, and it's just a dismount for me that I want to see them get more confidence in the landing, know where the ground is, because what they're doing on the actual apparatus is great gymnastics.
Jay Ramirez, the head coach for Towson in his 5th year. He was the the AGL Conference Coach of the Year in 21 and 22. And since he's gotten to Towson, check this out, he's jumped 37 spots in the rankings since he's taken over. Regardless of where they finish today, quite the job he has done with that program. Ella Zerbas on floor exercise for Utah.
In a great routine from Michaela Tucker.
2 for 2 for Michigan State. Josephine Kogler, the third gymnast here for Maryland, follows a 9.85 from Rec on that Stuck Yurchenko full.
Yurchenko full, not quite the stick they're hoping for. And we talk about Utah doing so well in today's competition. It's clear they're going to be one of the 2 teams qualifying to the regional finals. And I remember when regionals used to be back-to-back days, a lot of head coaches would strategize and actually remove some of their better or more volume athletes at the end to save their bodies. So I'm actually interested to see, because of the lead, if head coach Carly Dockendorf will change the lineups last minute to possibly give Grace McCallum an extra day of rest. But you notice Miley O'Keefe is not in that floor lineup right now, and it's possible that's exactly what they were thinking with that in mind.
Miley's in her 5th year. She's put a lot of gymnastics out on the floor, so I think she's earned a rest rotation, Sam.
She doesn't need more experience, that's for sure.
Camille Vitoff now for Towson. Oh.
And that was a hard fall because of how big that Ginger release move is. I think her feet were completely above the bar. Very dynamic.
Nikki Smith on beams following Kayla Tucker's 9.9. The second gymnast for Utah, Zerbas, also a 9.9. So perfectly matching scores for the top 2 teams, Utah and Michigan State, so far here in this 4th rotation.
But Michigan State came in needing some extra tenths, so they got to pick it up. It's ironic to say that considering their scores have been 9-9 in that 2nd place spot, but in order to catch Utah right now, they've got to put up some scores bigger than a 9-9. Wow. That is so impressive. Round off double back like a dart to the ground. It is so tough to stick that dismount. I tried it when I first came into college and just could not figure out how to stick the landing. So usually that's what happens to a lot of gymnasts that come to college with a round off double back dismount.
A lot of risk in doing that difficult of a dismount, Sam, especially when you can get away with the gainers off the side or the 1.5 dismounts or even the double fulls. Anna Silverman on vault for Maryland. Abby Paulson for Utah on floor exercise on the right.
And another step landing. 10-0 start value vault. Round off full twisting back handspring onto the table. Pike off.
Skylar Schulte will be the 4th gymnast to go. Still waiting for Nikki Smith's score.
As spoke to Utah's head coach Carly Dockendorf about the swagger they have on this event. She said, well, it's our most experienced lineup. We have all returners, and she just said they walk on the floor confident. It's like they say, I know I'm awesome, let's just go. And they're never thinking, will I make my routine? They're always just thinking, let's have a good time, and that's what does well for them in this event.
Abby Paulson, nicely done there. Nikki Smith for Michigan State in the third spot, a 9.95. Again, it's not about who wins today's competition. You got to be in the top two, but this is going to be a fun little finish, Sam, between Michigan State and Utah.
Yeah, and it's interesting hearing from Michigan State the importance of rhythm on balance beam. We all know that rhythm is important, but for that to be across the board, their entire lineups, such a focus in the gym. Oh no! Great save from Skyla Schulte. Big wobble there. They're definitely going to want to drop her score.
That will not be a big hit for Michigan State should they get two more hit routines after Schulte's, because they have big scores prior to that. But I'm sure Schulte is disappointed with that unfortunate wobble.
Yeah, she has the ability to put up a really big score on all four events. So at this stage in the game, these athletes are so hard on yourself. It most likely won't impact the results of this meet, but you know exactly the mistake you made right when you landed. It's so frustrating when something like that happens.
Emma Silberman, a 9.95 for Maryland. Now here comes Rothenbucher, second to last gymnast to go here for the Terrapins.
Another unique vault. I love to see the variety of this Maryland team. They're doing exactly what Brett Nelligan said they're gonna do. Head coach, he's excited about their difficulty and their big gymnastics, and we've been seeing that across the board.
And they're really doing what they needed to do on vault. They're getting some stuck landings. Not gonna be enough to catch Michigan State and Utah so far without those teams having mistakes late in this lineup. But great performance nonetheless. Uneven bars. Clara Hong now follows Vitoff's 8.9, so they are going to have to count a fall here as Towson on this event. Bailey Garcia, the fifth gymnast for Michigan State, following Schulte's 9.7. That is a score that Michigan State will want to drop.
Yeah, Clara Hong on the right side of your screen. I really enjoyed watching her gymnastics today. Really beautiful, has an effortless flow to it. And she's had that difficulty, front double. Tough to see the landing. And what I like about this scenario for Michigan State is that they're gonna feel a little bit of pressure. And again, it's not gonna impact the results of this meet, but it's good practice for Bailey Garcia right there, fall on beam. I was gonna say to see if she could handle the pressure, knowing they needed to drop that 9.7, and fortunately couldn't make that series.
Fifth year Jaden Rucker from Mesa, Arizona for Utah on floor exercise follows Abby Paulson's 9.85.
Big full in. You want to see the feet planted when you land those tumbling passes. Good finish for Bailey Garcia, but again, not the routine they were hoping for. They're definitely going to have to count Skyla Schulte's 9.7.
So it just got a little bit more interesting, Sam. Skyla Schulte, as you mentioned, a 9.7. They're going to have to count that. Bailey Garcia with a fall. Gabby Stephen, the last gymnast to go. And granted, she's got a margin, and we'll find out exactly what she's going to need, but the pressure on a little bit here from Maryland with doing some good vaults. Natalie Martin, the last vaulter to go. She puts up a big number here. Going to put a little bit more pressure on the Spartans on that last Beamer team.
Round of 1.5. Vertical chest position, landed a little low, side step, but a really good finish to a difficult vault lineup for Maryland. They're already at that 49 mark, which is a job well done, especially since we've noticed vault scores in the postseason have been a bit tighter.
Grace Valancourt on the uneven bar has been a bit of a disappointing rotation for Towson. A couple falls, 2 gymnasts yet to go, trying to finish strong here.
Shy on that first cast handstand. But big Jaeger release. Wow, missed her hand. Didn't touch her feet on the floor. Great save from Grace on bars. They need this hit routine in order to drop that 8.9 from Camille.
Gabby Stephen now on the balance beam for Michigan State. For a moment, it looked like they could sleepwalk through this last part of this rotation. Still comfortable, but definitely more pressure than they had just a few minutes ago.
But if there's anyone that can hit a beam routine anytime, any place, it's Gabby Stephen. Front aerial landing 2 feet, so difficult, brings that unique aspect to the balance beam routines. I was coaching a camp with Gabby last summer, and with 0 warm-up, and she hadn't practiced in a little bit, just jumps to the high beam and does a back handspring layout. No big deal, sticks it, doesn't fall, no wobbles. She's just a natural on this event.
So with that Bailey Garcia score of a 9.3, that is actually going to be enough, regardless of what happens with Gabby Stevens' routine right here, for them to advance. But man, got a little bit interesting for the Spartans there for a moment.
Yeah, again, it's good practice for them to feel the nervous energy. Maybe in their head it's a little bit of a bigger deal than it actually is on the scoreboard, but they're going to be in those pressure situations more in the postseason.
Jaylene Gilstrap for Utah, the 5th gymnast to go there, follows Jaden Rutgers 9.75. Our final event of the day, Sid Morris from Long Island University, finishing up here on the vault.
Jaylene's artistry is just chef's kiss. Beautifully done. Yurchenko layout full, chest down on the landing. You want to see that chest in the vertical position, bending your knees, absorbing the landing mat.
Bella Minervini now the anchor gymnast for Towson here, following Valancourt's 9.75.
Beautiful toe point. And Twitter told me that the guy dressed up with the Believe sign is actually her dad. So lots of support all around.
Super fan. Wow.
Big stretch double layout. What a beautiful routine. He knows it. That's going to be the biggest number for Towson on bars. What a way to finish.
Yeah, I'm a sports dad myself, and I feel you, bud. I feel the passion. It's hard to be a sports parent, whether it's gymnastics or baseball or any other sport. You live it like you're doing it. It's amazing.
Love to see it.
Jaylene Gilstrap, a 9.95. Utah is going to win the session And that means they, along with Michigan State, will advance to Sunday. So this, for Grace McCallum, an exhibition. She can just go out there and have fun.
I was just going to say, are we sure we want her to compete? And not because she's not stunning to watch on this event, but as an athlete who's competed in the NCAA postseason, it is so tough on your body. You want as much rest as possible. But these skills are easy for Grace.
Here's one thing to keep in mind too, Sam, though, for these teams, Michigan State and Utah, they advance to the finals on Sunday. But there's no guarantee that they will advance as a team to the NCAA championships. And if they don't, the individuals on that team could qualify to the NCAA championships based on their performance today. So for someone like Grace McCallum, this all-around score, should she be the highest all-arounder after the teams that qualify to the NCAA championship, she would go as an individual. So it does have some importance, even though a lot of people might have penciled in Utah to go as a team to the NCAAs. This routine, depending on what happens Sunday, could make a difference for Grace McCallum.
Great catch. You're exactly right. She's got to do this routine for safety net. I was testing you, but
thank you.
Rinse and repeat. Grace McCallum, another beautiful floor team. Gonna be a big score. They don't need it as a team, but should they need her score on Sunday as an individual, she's got it in her back pocket.
So going over to the bars for our individual. Kylie Gorgani. Again, doing it all around here today.
Nice handstand. Beautiful transitions. Working those handstands to vertical. What a way to finish. She was an all-arounder. It is so much harder to compete as an individual than with a team. So for her to have such a good all-around competition here, job well done, Kylie.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the final performance of this session?
Emotional moment there for the graduate student. Could it be her last collegiate performance? We shall find out. Brooke Donabedian, now for Temple, the senior from Maple Valley, Washington. The last gymnast to go here in the second round, first session of these regional championships.
And watch this routine. It is just breathtaking. This insane toe point that you can even tell how pointed her toes are in her tumbling, which you typically can't notice with every gymnast. She had to wait this entire meet to be the last and final competitor here on floor. That's also difficult since you can get cold during the competition. But not an issue for Brooke. Beautiful way to start and end her meet.
Nice job from Brooke Donabedian. Beautiful floor team from the Temple Owl. So session one, it's in the books. And it had some excitement, some great gymnastics. but it follows the rankings. Utah and Michigan State, the top 2 ranked teams coming in, will advance. Utah, one of the highlights here, Amelie Morgan, Sam.
Nicely done in that first spot, finishing beautiful stick position, getting them going in the right direction. And then a highlight for me in the entire competition, Abby Paulson's 9.975. She is so dialed in mentally on this event, and you can tell there could be an earthquake and it wouldn't push her off this beam. And Nikki Smith was all around phenomenal. Check that out, 39.675. Have yourself a day. Big high-flying gymnastics and great execution, which is why she gets the scores that she gets. Stretched hips, and she's got the exclamation points. Big double back to a suck position, very difficult to do.
That was the highest all-around of this session. And certainly Michigan State hoping that individual scores and rankings don't matter because they want to make it as a team. And so far they've checked off the first thing on their list, and that is to qualify to the regional final. Utah and Michigan State, the 5th and 12th ranked teams in the country. They were the favorites, and they got the job done. Later today, ranked teams Florida, Missouri will try to fend off Georgia and Iowa State. Also later today, the other brackets around the country, the Cal Bears, they will be at home in the California Regional. Denver, UCLA, the seeded teams in that first session. Arizona State, Washington trying to make their own magic. Auburn Tigers has been an up and down season for them. 14th ranked. They and the Cal Bears are going to try to advance against Stanford and Southern Utah. Tomorrow in the Michigan Regional, it's not going to be Michigan in the regional final. They got upset by Penn State. Also, Ohio State upsetting a very red-hot NC State team to get into those finals. So Alabama and Oklahoma, the top 2 seeds, Penn State and Ohio State, a couple of Big Ten teams trying to surprise people. This one I think is going to be real interesting, Sam. Kentucky, Arkansas, LSU, and Minnesota, all of the ranked teams make it in, but Arkansas, they're one to watch because they put up a higher score than the Kentucky Wildcats. That one's going to be fun, don't you think?
Yeah, there is just a lot that can happen. I was smiling the whole time you were talking about that, thinking of every scenario, and really it's whoever has the best day. You mentioned Arkansas had a higher score than Kentucky, so it's going to be who wakes up on the right side of the bed and who is more hungry to take the win and make it to NCAAs.
Well, the Utes were hungry, and the Utes got up on the right side of the bed apparently because they put up the highest score in this first session. Michigan State also has got to be pleased. There's a sticker out there somewhere that says Michigan State. I'm guessing they're going to get their chance to put it up. Give me your thoughts quickly on Michigan State. Did they put the country on notice that, hey, we're for real, you better watch out come Sunday?
No, I actually think they didn't do their highest potential, which is a good thing because I think there's going to be an extra fire in their belly to come back on Sunday and stick those landings on bars and to dial in the details across the board. They started strong, they got to finish strong.
Michigan State and Utah will be in the regional final on Sunday. It'll be a fun one, most definitely. See who advances out of this region. Later today, it's going to be a great one as well. Florida, Missouri, Georgia, Iowa State. Who will be the other 2 teams to advance to the regional final? Stick around for that. For Sam Pesek and our whole production crew, I am John Roethlisberger. So long from Session 1 here in Gainesville.